Hello and welcome to another episode of Florida's Tea Cap and Discussion, whatever we're calling it. Today we are doing episode 2 of the new series, King of Drag. Again, if you're not familiar with the season, we have our host, Murray Hill, spectacular world-renowned drag king, male impersonator, and we had 10 kings, now it's down to 9, competing for the title of King of Drag. So let's get into this week's theme. Remember, every week has a theme. This week's theme is comedy. Comedy, although, isn't every week's theme comedy? Let's be real, you know. But no, for real, it's actually comedy. And let's just get right into the mini challenge. The mini challenge is a little interesting. It's called mansplaining. And they have to get into groups for this. So they got into 3 groups of 3. The first group is Alexander the Great, Buck Wild, and Henlo Bullfrog, I do believe. And they do alright. They do pretty good. It's kind of funny. I laugh. Their topic is Amelia Earhart, and what happened to her. And they have to popcorn read as they explain. So if you remember the World's Worst, or whatever that challenge was on Drag Race, where the 3 girls share one brain, it's basically that, but improving it right now. No planning. You get a topic, you do it right now. So our first group does really, really good. Actually, not bad. They do pretty good. The next group ain't so hot. So we have King Molasses, Percocets, and I'm blanking on the third right now, Diva. I don't know. Put them here. I'll probably think about it after I name the next people in the next group. Group 2 doesn't do so good. They I think Big D was also in this group. I can't remember. I think group 2 had the like key to life or something, and I don't know. It gets really like really interesting. And then our last group of 3, which by order of elimination would have to be Pressure K, Charles, and I guess 2 other people, because there's 2 people I haven't named. Percocets. No, I think Percocets was on the second team. It doesn't matter. Team 1 clearly does way better than the second 2. So Team 1 kills it. They're the obvious winners, which I know are Alex, Buck, and I believe Henlo was in that group as well. My laptop died. My laptop had all of my little notes and whatnot on it. So we're doing this from my brain. So we know the theme. We've had our weenie challenge. I said mini challenge before, didn't I? Weenie challenge. Now we're going to move on to the main heat of the week, which this week is their, not to compare, but this would be their Snatch Game. This is their Celebrity Impersonation Challenge. The twist is that this one is based off of the Gong Show. It's called the Dong Show, and they're going to have celebrity impersonation / like a talent, aka the celebrity doing something that's comical but is also sort of a talent. Because the thing is, I don't want to see a bunch of people just being like, look, here's water. No shade, Irene. Here's how to make water. So the prompt is a little strange, but the week's theme is comedy. So no matter what, whether it's a bad impersonation or a bad talent, you have to be funny. Let's go over the parts of the challenge before I get into the people. So the first part is when Murray Hill is talking to them and introducing them before their talent number. The next would be when they are actually doing their number. And then the third is at the end, after they've done their number, Murray Hill is going to ask them a question or 2, and they get like not really a minute to speak to the judges, and then go sit back down. And also we had a few people like Percocets who they were showing little tidbits of, little like parts where he was in character talking, but he was just kind of chit-chatting with the other kings while someone was performing, or maybe after they performed. So let's get into our first performer, which was Buck Wild from Texas. And Buck does all right. They're doing the devil. We see them talk about possibly having some, organized religion-based trauma. in the workroom with Murray, because Murray makes the rounds and talks to everyone. And the outfit was good. It was on point. I think the funniest thing they said was at the very end when they said they had a new home address, the White House. Perfect. But they weren't really funny when they talked to Murray before the number, and then during the number things got a little funky, because you could see they were like so many little steps. They were like making chips and dip and like this little like salsa thing, and they had like a cigarette in their mouth. So Buck just seemed like overwhelmed and not like they totally had it all together in the number, and it wasn't that funny. So I would give it maybe like a 2 or 3 out of 5, probably a 2 out of 5, with how messy it ended up getting, and the fact that when Murray was talking to him in the very beginning and introducing him, that it was like very stiff. So again, possibly not in the order that they were in. I remember who went first and I remember who went last, but everyone in between, no clue. Let's go over Alexander the Great next. So Alexander the Great did Justin Bieber, and the talent was tap dancing. And Alexander the Great didn't say too many funny things. I mean, they were a little funny when they got introduced, but the number itself was funny because it was Justin Bieber tap dancing. It was like actual tap dancing, but then these like, it was very like, it had like little parts of like swagger, and it was like grabbing his crotch and stuff, and it was funny. It made me laugh. I'd give this like this is a safe and up performance. Like, this to me is like the bare minimum of where you need it to be in this challenge, to be like considered like almost high placing. Like I'd give this like a high safe. Definitely let's say no, let's say a 3 out of 5. I'd give Alexander the Great a 3 out of 5. So next up, we're gonna go over King Molasses' performance. I don't know the exact name of this person, but I do know who they are. It's like an NPR radio host personality that I've definitely heard of before. And the funny part to this one is that the talent is push-ups. And that's very like not obviously what this dude would be like known for doing, or like anything and whatnot. So it's funny. I do laugh a little bit. The talking parts were a little comical. The funniest part was probably revealing the big biceps, but it got kind of slow because there were just parts where they're like just doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on push-ups. So I'd give this again like a safe 3 out of 5. I don't think this was anything crazy. Like, I was entertained, definitely nowhere near the bottom, but not living the house down, you know. Next up, we're going to go over Big D's performance. Now, Big D chose to do Sylvester Stallone, a current Sylvester Stallone, folding a fitted sheet. But he's also wearing boxing gloves. So it's kind of like, yes, you're doing the character of Sylvester Stallone, and he would have boxing gloves, but also like you didn't have to do them, and it definitely adds more feeling of like a talent in here. And I laughed so hard. The impression was super funny. It was like you couldn't even you almost can't understand him. He's like, and it was super, super funny. Like, I howled. And then he references the tap dancing. Big D references the Justin Bieber tap dancing, Alexander the Great tap dancing before, and starts like making references to the Rocky movie. And I think an added layer to this, if anyone who doesn't know, Sylvester Stallone is like a family man now, which Big D mentions, and the whole fitted sheet thing like fits into that perfectly. Sylvester Stallone literally has like children, like his children, like he has grown children, and then some of his children are like children. And he's old, no offense. But I think Big D absolutely hit it out of the park. I would say at least a 4 out of 5 on this. The only reason I put 4 out of 5 is because there wasn't so much a talent involved. Like, but again, the criteria for this week was comedy, not talent. So, you know, it depends on what angle you're coming from, but I'd say a 4 out of 5. I laughed so hard. And the improving, bringing something up like that obviously wasn't planned, like crazy. So next up, we have Pressure K. And I actually have a soft spot for Pressure K. We find out in episodes one primarily, and also a little bit in 2, that Pressure K is a little bit more of a baby King and maybe isn't as experienced as some of these other competitors. And we actually see when they're getting ready in the workroom that King Mo, or rather he has to go, so Pressure K's beard isn't working out. He has to go ask Mo if they'll help him. And obviously, like, they do, because, you know, they're bros. They help each other out. They in the man cave. This week, Pressure K, I don't remember exactly who they did. They did, like, a rapper. This guy that's, like, known for, like, smoking and has, like, a nice beard. And the funny part was they were doing, like, the ribbon, like, gymnastics, like, rhythmic gymnastics. So I thought it was good. I thought Pressure K did well, but it was, like, bordering on not, because the thing was they didn't really talk a lot or make many, like, verbal jokes, and then their performance was comical because of the you know, opposing, like, rhythmic gymnastics meets, like, like, hardcore rapper dude, which is kind of the same approach that Alexander the Great had, where it's the talent opposes the celebrity, so it's fun. That's pretty much what most everyone did, including Mo. So I would say Pressure K for me, it's like it's 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, because the thing was there wasn't enough actual talent happening, and I wasn't, like, laughing enough. There weren't enough other gags in there to get me through it. So I'd say this is a 2 out of 5 for me. A little bit of a low safe type of vibe. Next up we have Henlo, who does Jack Black. Very, very funny, does the voice just right, makes a lot of funny little quips about teaching music. And their talent is playing the trumpet with their foot, and they also, like, put a sandwich in there. I guess it's to, like, do that thing, like, where people put their hand in, like, the instrument, like a brass instrument, to change the sound. But they used a sandwich because they're Jack Black, and it was funny. I laughed. I thought it was good. I'd give it, like, a 3 out of 5, because I wasn't, like, laughing like, super hard, but I enjoyed myself. I was entertained. I thought it was funny, and the impression was good, and there was a talent. Playing music is hard. It's hard work. Now, next up, we are going to go with another brass instrument player, another musician. We have Dick Von Dyke, or DVD. Love a DVD. And DVD does, one of the Irwins. I don't know, Steve Irwin, probably. And the talent is seducing a crocodile by playing a brass instrument. They have, like, a French horn. And it was really funny. They had a lot of jokes in there, with approaching the Sheila. You know, they did the accent the whole time. They had parts where they're, like, getting ready to, like, dive on the alligator, and they have their butt all up in the judge's face and stuff. He's like, wait for it, time to and then also the alligator has, like, an instrument with it. And the part that's the funniest is that the song choice is correct, which is that it's like that, like, you know, like, I'm trying to seduce somebody type of music. And they played really well, and yeah, so I'd give this, like, at least a 3 out of 5, maybe a 4 out of 5. I think it was pretty funny. Yeah, we could go 4 out of 5 on that. I think it was pretty good. And my makeup looks pretty good too, don't it? And next up, we're gonna do Charles Galen King. Now, this started off a little funny. They were very, very funny when they introduced him, especially because Murray Hill did not know how to pronounce the name. Murray Hill was like, Nosfertuti, not Nosferatu, Furtado von Beach. Like, they did not know how to say Nosferatu, so that was really funny and good for Charles. But their talent was not a talent at all. They were just reading a book, which was the lyrics to What Does the Fox Say, in, like, a very funny way. And it made me chuckle a little bit, it made me laugh, but there was no talent, and there was not, like, a punchline, nothing, like, happened. Like, that was the whole punchline, was they open the book and they start go, cat go meow, bird go tweet. Like, it wasn't, like, I wasn't living. So I would give that one also, like, maybe a 2 out of 5, because I just, like, it was a good impersonation. You were a little funny. I had a laugh or two here, but I was not living. So now we have gotten to our very last performer. I believe we don't have anyone else except for King Percocets. And King Percocets is doing Urkel. and the talent is time travel. I don't know. Maybe I missed something or I'm not remembering something. Um, they were funny. They showed so many little clips of Percocets commenting like as Urkel throughout the other Kings performances. They were funny when they answer. The voice was funny. They look just like him, but they start strong and then they start to plummet because they get into their little time machine and then they come out as Sonic and they're like running around, and apparently the joke is that the person that played Urkel also voiced Sonic the Hedgehog. So I don't know. It had funny jokes in it at the end, like after they like wreck the set all like chaotically. They're like, "Did I do that?" And it's like that part is funny, but there wasn't really like a talent shown, and like there wasn't like I didn't laugh enough. So I would say this one also gets like a 2 out of 5. Like you're not quite there, like you're almost safe, but you didn't make it. So let's get into my placements for who I would place where this week. In the top, we definitely have Big D, Dick Von Dyke. Those are my top 2. And then in a high placement, I think we could either have King Molasses or we could have Alexander the Great. They both were pretty entertaining. I laughed. And then for my bottom 2, I would say it has to be Buck Wild and King Perk. And then the low placement would probably be Charles Galen King, because theirs was probably the cleanest out of that bottom 3. And I'd probably laughed more at Charles than the other 2 in the bottom. Or it could have even been Pressure K in the low placement. And I claim some rigor mortis this week. So the actual placements for this week are the top is King Molasses, Big D, and Dick Von Dyke, which aligns with what I picked. I don't agree with the winner. The winner was announced to be King Molasses, and I don't agree with this for a few reasons. One, I did not find theirs as funny as the other 2 that were in the top. And also, King Molasses just won last week. And I understand, like, you shouldn't be stifling people because, like, oh, well, they won last week. Who's to say they couldn't win this week, too? What if they do bad at the end? Like, it's, the order of the episodes and all that. There's only 5 competitive episodes besides the finale. Only 5. So, King Molasses now has 2 wins out of 5 wins that are plausible before the finale. And we have some other people that just did much better. Like, it doesn't seem correct. Even he was shocked. You could see, like, his face. He was like, what? And someone's like, why are you so shocked? And it's like, girl, he did not deserve that win. A high placement, sure. A win, not for me. I would have given the win to Big D, probably. Especially because they got picked last week and then were in the high placement and didn't get that win. And it was good to see Dick Von Dyke in the top because, again, they also could have been in the top last week. And then the bottom 3 for this episode, Gaggy again, more rigor mortis. Somebody call Morris. Somebody call Morris. They put Alexander the Great as low. They put them in the bottom 3, and I was gagged because there were multiple other people that not only did much worse, did, like, not as good. Like, there were people that did okay, and Alexander the Great still did better than them. So I just don't understand. This is rigor mortis. The bottom 2 is the same. It's the bottom 2 that I picked, which would be Buck Wild and King Perk, because they definitely did the worst. So now let's get on to the final thrust, or the elimination challenge. They call it the final thrust. And this week, it is a 1-minute stand-up set. Essentially, it's like, hey, go be funny for like 1 minute. Can you do that? And it's very interesting because I also don't agree with who went home. I think Buck Wild, even though he like just barely ran out of time and didn't get to finish his joke like all the way, I think Buck had a funnier set than Perk. I mean, like, Perk's made me like start to cringe, like, and yeah, I just wasn't living. It definitely should have been Buck Wild staying. Also, a random rigor mortis moment. So they put Alexander the Great in the low placement, and one of the judges knows him outside of the show and says, I know you can do all these crazy things. You do the aerobatics and the tap dancing and the this and the fire and whatever. But then they're saying that this episode was not about the talent and it was just about being funny. So how are you going to compare him to like these things one, comparing him to things outside of the show, and then two, talking about like you wanted to see more talent in his, when he did like freaking tap dancing, but when some people didn't do a talent at all, like it just doesn't seem right. It's giving me rigor mortis. I think Alexander the Great should have been probably in the top or at least safe. You know, based off of my scoring, like they weren't even in the bottom 4. And I gave King Molasses a 3 out of 5. I would also give Alexander the Great a 3 out of 5. Alexander the Great was put low and King Molasses was given the win. That's just, no. That's too much rigor mortis going for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. So that is this week's episode of King of Drag. If you like this episode, please give it a like, and if you don't, bye. See you never. If you enjoyed me, my name is Flora Demand. Please subscribe to my channel and support local drag. I will be here again with another episode, another review, whenever you need it. Bye-bye.
Ain't no party like a cha-cha party, 'cause a cha-cha party go, wow.